All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
ReZero, Season 2, Episode 9. Return by Death.
Return by death! I can return by death!
Mm-hmm.
And she knows.
She knows.
Now,
which is curious.
There's ways in which what she says, makes more sense in context.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple different contexts that make sense. One is that, you just said that and you've been repeating it. Mm-hmm. So I get it.
Right.
Whatever that means, I know.
Yeah.
I understand that why you're yelling this over and over again is because you're traumatized and you need someone to lean on and share this pain with.
Yep.
Awesome.
But whether it's because of telepathy or some kind of crazy all-knowingness or the fact that she's a witch or the fact that, is she a kidna? Or
just the trial that, she had him do. She learned a whole ton about him.
Yep. So who knows what the reasoning for it is? I can imagine Subaru is probably going to be very curious.
Mm-hmm.
But we also got that whole bit with, Roswaal talking to Subaru and being like, hey, go to Beatrice and be
here's the code, here's the key.
Here's the code. I am the person,
right.
And
also the previous code that I was going to give you, that might not be enough. That might not be enough,
But I'm the person, it's like, hold on. Mm-hmm. Are we going to go into second person that Subaru will unknowingly tell about Return by Death without realizing he's telling about Return by Death, and in doing so, find another loophole?
Possibly. I think that that's something that they're setting up here, is that there's a very real way in which these characters might just know the things that are going on a little bit more than Subaru, and are trying to manipulate things towards a certain end, and are not necessarily directly antagonistic towards him just because they're manipulating him. But it's the kind of things of where you kind of go, ooh, Roswaal, you're not my enemy.
Mm-hmm.
But you are, a high-level wizard, which means you have your own schemes. You're constantly working.
And at the very least, you rarely do things in a straightforward manner. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Right.
But right now, we're with Echidna.
Yeah, we're with Echidna.
She is very quickly becoming best girl.
I'm very excited to spend more time with her. Echidna, if she's a master manipulator, then she is ridiculously good.
Yeah, because
I buy all the emotional displays that she makes. I'm like...
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right. Yes, her body fluids. Yes. Okay.
All right.
なんで俺にご執心なのかは全然わからねえけど、死に戻りには回数制限があると思うか。
It's a good question.
There's no limit. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
Oh.
But good to just make sure. Yeah.
But it's also addressing the horrific torturous future that could be ahead.
Mm-hmm.
だけど、仮に君が多くの犠牲を許容して運命を変えることがあれば、
その犠牲になったものを取り戻すチャンスは巡ってこない。
Is Tatsuo trying to break through the barrier into this space?
I think he's thinking on how that feels.
Gotcha.
腹はもう決まった。お前が俺にくれた死に戻りって恩恵。
Ah, yes, very informative input.
Right.
Just for that.
やたらとお礼をしてくるな。前回みたく何が聞きたいって押してこいよ。お前にしか頼れない。対価なら何だって払ってやる。
There we go.
大きいではなく、
Oh.
多いだよ。
Okay.
All right.
Oh.
Okay.
Like the Chimera?
400年前に暴食の魔女であるダフネによって
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
This
I like
tracks.
it.
This tracks. It has similar power with the whale and all that. Yeah.
仮に滅ぼすのであれば 全ての大ウサギをひとまとめに葬るしかない。
Explosion!
それは
Basically.
1キロ雨粒を残らず蒸発させる行いに等しい。
けど何か手があるのか。
Oh, there's a way.
本当に危険であまり進めたくはないが。
Oh!
Risk to someone that can return by death.
Right, right. But what kind of death would that be?
Oh!
大ウサギの生みの親だろ。倒すヒントはそいつに聞くのが一番手っ取り早い。やってくれ。
With a smile. Wait, is
Oh, this
she
voice.
adorable?
って何ですか？
Oh my god.
それな、失礼ってやつだぞ。
Wow.
彼らはさ、悪人
She has no restraints! Wait!
ずっと気になっててさ。
悪人？逃げればいいのか。
She's so adorable, she'll win you
罪
over
はただ痛み
instantly.
によってのみあがなわれる。
Oh crap.
Whoa.
痛くないってことは悪人じゃないってことだ。よかったな。
Oh no. Oh no!
Wait,
Oh,
wait,
no!
wait, wait.
Oh,
Oh god!
お前返せ。
Oh! Oh no! Oh no!
基本の目的はおしまいな。
人の世の不条理を殴り3つ。醜かろうが美しかろうが浮世にいるならことごとく。
One of the other witches.
Yeah.
私の憤怒が拳の怒りが私の答えだ。私は憤怒の魔女。
Rat.
Rat,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
こんなもんじゃないわ。
何言ってんじゃねえか。
次は未来足にするわよ。
I love how Wrath is a healer.
Yes, yes. Witch of Sloth, maybe? Oh, well, no, we know what this is.
聞きたい
Okay.
んですか？スバル。
No, it's my mind is trembling. That's how you're
Yeah.
supposed to say it.
ダフネの好きな匂い。
Ah!
食べちゃいたくなるんです。
Why isn't the mouth covered?
ああ、クジラとウサギちゃんとヘビちゃん。
なんであんな奴らを作り出したんだよ。
白芸、おっきいですよね。
It was.
あの子食べるとたくさんの人が満足しませんか？大ウサギなんていく
Yeah.
らでも増えるんですよ。
Infinite food.
Yep.
あの子がいれば誰もお腹が減ったりせずに済みますし。
Wow.
その大ウサギに大勢が食われるって言ってんだ。人の
相手を食べようとするのに自分が食べられる可能性を考えないのってちょっと勝手すぎませんか？みんな暴食を安く考えてないですか？
Yeah, actually, I kind of agree. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
生きていく中で一番大事な欲求なんですよ。スバルも一度限界まで飢えてみたら
Oh, no.
わかり
And
ます
right
よ。
now, I'm
ダウネとウサ
starving.
ギちゃんがどんな世界に生きてるか。大ウサギは獲物を探すのにマナーを頼りにしてるんですよ。
Cha. Okay, that's good.
そろそろダフネはいいですか？
Thankfully, we got the Lord up a while
Mhm.
ago,
大ウサ
so
ギ
we
は
don't
俺が
really
滅
need
ぼ
that.
す。
Yeah.
白芸ももう殺した後だ。400年。奴らは暴れ回った。もう十分
Bold of you to say that.
たかだか人間が
Oh. She's angry.
やれるものならやってみたらいいですよ。
Yeah.
Oh, we're back.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.
体をダフネに譲ろうとした途端、ティフォンが先に
I'll bet you they had to like cycle through the list, and she's like, 1, 2. No, 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 no! I didn't mean that one.
ひとまず魔女の中でお前が何をやったのかって収穫があった。
やれやれ。
Oh, oh, yeah.
Flattery will get
Make
you
me
nowhere.
blush.
居心地の
Yeah.
いい言葉でご機嫌取りしようだなんて。
This is tea and gives him
わかり
cookies.
やすいよな、お前って。でも、お前の体液とクッキーは遠慮する。
He's done that every time.
揺れ
Yeah.
てないよ。
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
なんだ。
どうやら目覚めの時間が近いみたいだ、
Oh,
ね。
limited time.
それ
Okay.
で
Okay.
覚醒を促されたかな。
それってエミリアか。いや、待てよ、そもそもお前試練の試験官気取りじゃなかったか。
だから彼女の挑む結果に僕は興味がない。
She
お前の
is.
性格の悪い試練には俺が挑む。もともとそのつもりでいたんだ。
性格が悪いまでは言わなくてもいいんじゃないかな。
茶会へ招く条件は徐々に厳しくなる。
Oh, really?
Oh,
すでに二度
that's probably
茶
part
会
of the
へ
way
招かれ
that
た。
Satala's keeping
知り
them
た
in
い
here
と
is that
心からの欲求を叫ぶことで僕に声が届く。
くそまずい。本格的に意識がブレてきた。
ああ、タイか。
okay.
もちろん忘れてもらっちゃ困るよ。やっぱりこれかな。心配しなくてもここは精神世界だ。
This is potentially huge,
外に戻った
dude.
時に消えてなくなる
That was
わけじゃない
from a bit of meddling.
確かに。
Wait, whoa.
Okay.
助かった。
夏木スバル、もし君が3度目の茶会に来ることがあれば、その時今度は僕の方から
Oh, come on. You can't do that to us. You can't do that to us. Oh, no.
It's moments like that that make this whole experience really feel like a video game, like a really good video game, you know?
Yeah.
エキドナは約束を守ってくれたか。本当に名前詐欺の魔女だ。
Yeah, possibly, or...
Whoa!
Hold on. Hold on.
Oh!
What is this?
This is not some shamach stuff. This is...
エミリアどうだラムリュウズさんオットーでもいい
Well, new creative way for you to die.
Is this
Is
like
this the
the
Black
witch's
Serpent?
influence?
Or...
Oh! When he was screaming, return by death, and everything.
Oh.
Whoa, wait!
Oh, shit!
Oh, no!
Oh, shit!
Oh, my
What?
God!
What?
No way!
No! No!
Oh!
No!
愛してる、愛してる、愛してる。
It's Emilia's
That's
voice.
Emilia, yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, my... Oh!
愛してる。
ざけてんじゃねえぞこれ
Wait. Wait. We're gone. Uh.
状況が見えてねえのか今大事なのはあれの首を噛みちぎる方法それだけだ
Okay. Okay.
なんだよどうしてこんな時に嫉妬の魔女
Because of something you did.
You invoked her too many times, man.
なんとかしねえとなんとかしてあれを倒してやろう追って決められねえだと
Oh.
結界から出るつもりか屋敷だ屋敷だ
Wait.
ロズワルの屋敷に行こうとしてやがるんだとこれ以上やらせてたまるかよ
Oh.
Whoa.
I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
Petra gave him that wristband with the intent of promise you'll return. Mm-hmm. That's the way that she got out.
Oh.
She took the essence of the promise to return.
Okay.
She got like a reverse summoning or whatever. But that's Echidna that got it, not
Yeah.
Satila.
Yeah. Oh, wait, Jacob.
What?
I just realized how this could all be big-brained Satila, not actually Echidna.
What?
Is that... Okay. The witches were consumed, right?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So none of those could be the witches. They're all just Satila invoking each of the
Yeah.
witches she's consumed. And why would you have this perfect, prison here?
Oh my god. Wait.
And and thus those are the witches as well, because
Right.
they would have
They're trapped within her or whatever. Yeah.
But oh my god, I have
shit.
so many questions right
me
now.
too. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
どうも運がない
Roswaal.
試練の成否もわからないとは君が地獄を歩むのならば私は喜んで堂々しよう君が地獄を生きるのなら私はその地獄をこそ望もう次は 間違えないようにね。
Subaru.
Wow. Wow. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, this is so good. This season, y'all, has not missed. Like, it has not missed.
It really hasn't.
It's just going and going and going.
Yep.
And right at this point, I think we're so close to understanding what's kind of going on here. We're so close because Echidna might actually be like a legitimate ally here. There are the ways in which we've come very close to the edge of the knife, if you will, to use a Tolkienism. Like, we need just to walk that fine line, stray but a little, and we'll fall to the ruin of all and all that.
Right.
But there's two things that are at play here. One, Echidna gave him access to the other witches, unintentionally to two of them.
Right.
But that access to really powerful magical beings that are fundamental to some of the ways that the world is situated right now means Subaru has serious ally potential within them.
Oh, yeah.
Especially given that, like, Echidna, I buy it. I can see her being a master manipulator and this all being Satila's stuff all along, but I really don't think that's what they're pushing for here.
I don't think so.
Especially with this bit here that Satila's whole, like, her essence and everything is just fully just wrapped around and, you know, just drenching the entire sanctuary through Emilia.
Right.
Now, that's something that feels like it's been like the build up towards the end game, which is Emilia will be the one that the witch reincarnates into.
And then Subaru must reach her heart, and hence the story is all about love, like they said at the end of the first season.
Exactly.
Now, so there were some things that we talked about just amongst ourselves in between the episode and the discussion to try and get everything like sort of on a similar page.
Squared off,
Yeah, squared off. But so there's the possibility that, you know, that theory that we had of all the witches, you know, they were consumed by Satila, and that's what's going on here, and it's all being manipulated and all that stuff. Yeah. But in order for Subaru to use Return by Death, since it's from the witch's power, it would make sense that it wasn't because of something he did, because otherwise, why would he be allowed to return by death? Right?
Yep.
Like that, you know, like...
To be fair, he hasn't died yet, so we don't know.
And he hasn't died yet, so we don't necessarily know that he can't, but I'm going to assume that will continue, and that this is the ultimate crazy, like, world-ending, you know, bad end thing that must be avoided.
For the sanctuary.
Right.
Because at the very least, this is not purely Satila. Like, what I get the vibe from this here is that this is something to where Subaru screwed up. Roswaal's little bit at the end is very important. He's basically saying, like, well, okay, hell itself, here we go. Subaru,
better luck next time.
Yeah, better luck next time. Don't make this mistake twice.
Right.
And I think the mistake is plain as day. He was snapped away because of his cries of why, before he could comfort Emilia after her trial.
Right.
Now, she's doing the same trial over and over again, but to her, it's just the one time, right? So it's not like she's being worn down necessarily by this. But,
especially not in this iteration.
Yeah, of course. But the thing that I feel like cannot be understated is that throughout this season, Emilia has really needed Subaru at very small key points.
Yep.
And because of that, things end up going a lot better for just everyone because Subaru was there. The stuff in the carriage, the stuff with the townsfolk, here, the trial. This is going to be something where if there's anything to where Satila is winning here while also Subaru gets a chance to do it over again, is that I feel like she gave Subaru this power specifically to protect Emilia, the eventual vessel that she will inhabit. Right. And thus he is her archbishop for the eventual Witch of Envy.
Total sense because especially with how Betelgeuse was in the first season, that's a dark twist on it. Right. But yeah, Subaru is the main Emilia simp. You know, so like that if the shoe fits, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
like, and
Oh,
it,
yeah.
it does fit.
So in this respect, of course he would want to protect Emilia. Of course he'd want to find
Yeah.
a way to save her here.
Right.
Best thing might be to do is just to gain as much info as you can before you die. But the scary part, and this is why we're freaking out so much here, is that this is full-on Satella power. This is something that might override, Return by Death because it's of the same power.
Yep.
And thus we could get a really scary true death bit here where he might have to be like, Garf, beat the shit out of me and kill
Rip
me.
my throat out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Like,
Yep.
I can't,
And that's
I
actually-
can't have you, like, just walk away. We need to have you kill me right now.
Yep. But there are a few things that we have that sort of happened here. One, once Satella inhabited Emilia's body, she then proceeded to head in the direction of the mansion. That is curious, given the fact that, well, now maybe that just means that after the trial, the barrier was down, and because of what happened
But
with
there are
Emilia.
3 trials.
That's
So
true.
the barrier
Yeah.
shouldn't be down.
Which is just terrifying, because then that means that, okay, I guess because of what happened, Satsulla's power was unleashed, and now she's strong enough to just bust through the barrier, I guess. Or maybe she won't know about it. Who knows?
I would almost assume that in order to make the plot just a little bit more enticing, I would say, is that she might have another way of getting out, but it's not just a raw strength related thing.
Okay.
I feel like one of the things that this show does with regards to its magic system is that everything is overpowered in its own specific way, but the magic of a lot of the things that it does just completely like overrides something and
Yeah, rock,
works,
paper, scissors
or
kind
it
of thing.
doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Meaning, like in this instance here, I don't think that the sanctuary is just going to be just shut down or broken just because Satella,
Is being unleashed
is
within
being
it.
unleashed within it. Yeah. So I very much also vibe with the idea that the reason why the very specific limitations of who can enter and
just-
go through
just half
Sanctuary
bloods
at
have
will.
trouble? Yeah.
Yeah, very much seems like something that was an anti-Satella protection.
Absolutely.
So
and I think that might have even been said.
Yeah. So
but-
I don't think Satella or even Emilia here, if this is...
Sure.
Yeah, this is another thing we're going off based on assumptions here. It's her voice.
It's her voice. It's definitely Emilia. They changed the ED to show Emilia half and half with Satella, like
Yes.
dark power or
Can-
whatever.
Can I go back and look at that? 'Cause
Yeah.
I thought it might have been Echidna, actually. That was the one that had the half and half. I don't think
Pretty sure it was Emilia. If it is Echidna, then that's very curious.
So you're talking about the ED here.
Yeah. At the end of the ED, they changed the last little bit of it.
Okay. Weird, because I really swore that was Echidna and not Emilia here, because they just showed Emilia. There's Ram. Yeah. And then it would be right here.
No,
that's Beatrice.
But
Okay, yeah, but
one of the
keep going.
things that is curious though is that whole thing of the handkerchief around the wrist from Petra that Echidna wanted. That screams to me like, okay, yeah,
That's Echidna.
Okay, yeah,
That's very clearly Echidna. The butterfly. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think what it is it's to show, like, don't trust her still. Just because she's being very helpful
Right.
here.
She is two-faced, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And she is limited. So it's the idea of a dragon in a cage, Even if it looks like it's enjoying itself surrounded by all its pomp and stuff or whatever, it's still sealed in a magical cave.
Right.
Once the genie's out of the bottle, you can't put it back in.
You don't put it back in the bottle.
Right.
And that's what makes me very curious about what the whole situation was with the thing from Petra, because
Yeah.
if it is like, because it seems very arbitrary, right? The fact that, it's not a physical thing, so I can't have physical things in here and all that stuff. You'll still have it. It doesn't seem like it's something where he necessarily forgot about Petra or something as a result.
Yeah. So
it could be knowledge, but the part
it
of
has to be knowledge, right? Because that's her power. That's her.
That's true.
That's her desire, her greed.
Yeah.
And I feel dumb for kind of bringing this up here, but it has nothing to do with stealing memories, of course, because that's Gluttony's thing.
Right.
And the witches have very specific angles that they put things on. We got
Yep.
very specific lore dumps given about all the witches, so that when Wrath showed up and started healing things and being angry about that, that was something that we were given. So that's something that we as a setup here was just getting shown. But if anything, she wants to know everything about this world. And while that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad in the immediate, physical sense, she might now know everything about that connection that Subaru shares with people at the mansion. And whatever Petra knows.
One of the things that I love about this show is that because the iterations are incredibly painful and horrific to go through, and Subaru doesn't want to, just go true scientific method where you change one thing and then redo it, right?
Because
that would break his mind, right?
Yeah. And he probably has done that sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah.
There will be times where multiple things are different and we don't know what's causing what.
Right.
Right? Because the fact that he made this deal with Echidna and was like, yeah, take whatever you want. Oh, I just want something that is the essence of this trinket that you were given to guarantee your return, but it won't really, I'm not actually taking the thing.
Right.
It's like, okay,
so
that's curious.
Do you want a theory here that's something aware why she picked that as opposed to anything else?
Yeah.
It's because I've already got everything I need from you, Subaru. Literally the only thing on you that has nothing to do with you, solely, is that thing. Because one, it was covered by a sleeve, which means she had to not only pull back the sleeve to see it and know that it was there. She was like, I looked over you already, probably, and was like, no, nothing else is interesting.
It's one of those things where Echidna, seems a lot of the stuff that she does seems trustworthy, right? But then at the same time, there's little things like that where it's like, okay, hold on now, because knowledge is power, and But Satsula, okay. I really do like the idea that it is the thing of, because Subaru didn't comfort Emilia and things like that, then it just ended up going really badly. And I guess this is what it looks like, which then it's like, oh man, Subaru, yeah, you really got it easy with your trial. If Emilia the whole time was in some sort of psychic battle against Satsula's soul or spirit or whatever, then it's like, oh yeah, going through your memories and seeing your parents again, it's like, you got off real easy, buddy. But
yeah, she said that the thing with the thing was that she's not going to take it away. She wouldn't want to undo that person's sentiment or whatever, or disrespect it in any way. But she said this was something to be taken with a little bit of meddling involved. So she did say it was for knowledge's sake primarily.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the maybe a little bit of meddling.
The other thing that it made me think of is would it be something where it's not that she took it from him, but she imprinted some of herself onto it so that when he returns it to Petra, then it will do something.
That.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I could very easily see this being a thing of where one of the things that makes the witches, and by extent just any interaction Subaru has with Echidna so dangerous, is that they actually do have all their power here.
Right.
Because one of the things that we were told, not really told, shown, literally shown here, was the way the two witches that weren't supposed to be here
just sort of forced their way in.
Because Echidna was scrolling through a bit too slowly and accidentally summoned
She sent out a ping of hey, Daphne, you want to come over here? And they
there were
responded
two people spamming the respawn button.
Right.
Let me in.
Right. Which I love, right? And there's still the whole question of because we don't know what kind of place this is, we don't know what the ramifications are of the things that happen here. We know for instance that Subaru won't die if he's killed here, but his mind could be shattered or something.
Right. But I was trying to bring up the one thing that we do know here is that the witches can use their powers here.
Right.
They literally use their powers on Subaru here. The Witch of Pride.
Yep.
Which I love that was the Witch of Pride, Typhon.
Oh my God.
Who just
That was
casually just like, oh, I'm gonna take that, and take that, and it's like, oh, you feel no pain, and that you think of yourself as someone who sinned, and yet you're the good guy. Oh, and
Yeah,
it's just
that
like,
was-
oh,
like,
that oh.
having the adorable little girl be Pride that is then like
Disassembling
you.
him,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like, okay,
I'm going to
okay.
deconstruct you literally in
yeah.
your physical body and in your spirit psyche. And then Wrath comes in and is like, get out of here! And just,
Bitch! Yeah.
1, 2, 3 or whatever, heals him. And she's got this like really
like hearts
over the
going
top-
everywhere. And
Yeah, like soot and everything. I was like, I care too much about all these people. And, why do I have to use my? Okay, it's just like I love the voice acting in ReZero.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
voice acting has always been stellar.
Stellar. But this was the moment where I was like, how did they do it? How did they do it? It's the Boomy of Legend of Korra. He's the one with it. You know, it's just
Yeah.
in like 3 seconds, I'm in love with a character already. And this character in Minerva,
Well,
so perfect.
because one of the things that's really tough in this setup here, and Echidna is a great example of how they're handling it, and then with these other two witches, yes, wonderful. Satsala is the one that we're taking super seriously. She's super scary and all that stuff and whatnot, and right. But with the other ones, how do we make it so that we're actually like interested in seeing them, other than for just like a world building curiosity standpoint?
Yeah.
When the witch that we take seriously, that token is already kind of taken. Now, yeah, we still take them seriously,
Yeah.
but the idea that they're terrifying, but it's not just banked on like you must see them all as being super terrifying, because then that'd get exhausting, right?
Right, yeah.
So alongside that scariness, and in fact it kind of highlights the scariness
does.
even more.
It does,
by
yeah.
giving moments where we're like, oh no, this is just a cutesy little anime girl. This is great. You know, what are those little flower things,
I literally
bracelets?
thought
Like,
that the
are those the
flower
restraints?
thing
You know,
was the restraints, and
Yeah.
then she got up and walked up next to him like, wait a minute,
hold on, yeah.
no,
Right.
no.
yeah,
And this one too, you weren't supposed to touch either, Subaru.
yeah,
Only head pats.
right. And
God
even
damn
then-
it, Subaru.
Yeah. Like, but so then
Disappointed in you.
having them be like quirky in these ways, so that then when the other thing happens, when Subaru's arm gets ripped off, we're like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah,
Or with
then when
Echidna,
he leaves and Satala's
Yeah.
possessed Emilia.
exactly. Like the whole thing with Echidna of her constantly being like, oh, I mean, sure, you know, like, okay, yeah, say thank you. You know, here are my cookies and tea. No, I didn't put any hair in them this time. I can't believe you. Well, okay, you know, that kind of stuff.
It has nothing to do with whether you put hair in there. It's the
Right.
fact that this is your sweat, piss, or whatever in here, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
that kind of stuff balances out and puts us into that false sense of security,
Yep.
so that when the thing happens and it's like, oh, I'll do anything. Oh, I'm just gonna meddle. It's like, hold on, but
witch!
yeah, I said witch.
Witch!
Yeah, right. So, and then we have stuff like this where he goes out and then it's Emilia, Tatsala, and it's freaking, you know, slime climb and like, you know, okay, all right.
You know what this kind of makes me think of, and I said it, I think, in the reaction, was the other part of this could be that when Subaru was screaming out, I can return by death, I can return by death, I can return by death, and saying it over and over and over and over and over again, it might have actually jump-started things in a way that I want to bring up here. Whenever Subaru brings up I can return by death, the witch's like arm, like
heart
power
clutch
thing,
and all that stuff, and
basically threatens to kill him.
Yep, and kill
But-
someone else if he actually manages to say it.
But yeah, it can also kill someone else here. One of the things that's rather curious about this is that if we assume that there's no consequences to his actions with regards to him,
Oh,
what if the reason why the one time it killed someone else,
it was Emilia.
it was Emilia, what if it's not that it kills someone else, but whatever might be potentially already connecting Emilia and Satala
that's a good
gets triggered.
Yeah, so given that we got some motivation for why Satala gave him return by death.
Yep.
In that it was she didn't want you to die and all that stuff and whatnot, and the fate doesn't necessarily involve other people. But if it were to involve someone else, it seems like it would involve Emilia. Now,
definitely.
Now, I love how they said, no. All the times that you save people, that's you being you.
That's
right?
you meddling with destiny.
Exactly. I love it. I love
Awesome.
it. Good stuff.
It keeps Subaru actually feeling like a protagonist that is affecting the story.
But with what's been happening so far, of Emilia being the eventual reincarnation of Satala whenever that happens or whatever, and then Subaru protecting her, much like an archbishop would, that then makes it interesting of why would, assuming that that's part of Satala's intent.
It does make sense.
Yeah, it does
be
make
the
sense.
ultimate immortal guardian.
Yeah, exactly.
Rewinding time
right.
to get the canon ending.
Yeah.
And of course, the villainess wants the canon ending, which is
why would Satala kill Emilia as a result of Subaru telling her? Now, maybe it's because then the jig is up, and Satala doesn't want the eventual host to know before she's hosting that this is all being machinated, you know. But
it could also drive his attachment further, closer to her.
Oh, sure. I didn't even think about that.
Any kind of stuff that basically, keeps them together, because during that
evil witch matchmaker.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I love you. Yeah, that's creepy. But I really do think that there's a possibility that what happened here was the mechanics of the magic broke down, and the thing that reaches out in its hand is not coming from necessarily within Subaru. Now, I would say it probably is. But it could be that when it's something where it's not going to hit Subaru, because why do that? That's just doesn't make any sense or what have you. What if there's a point where that power then hits hard enough in the one that he's supposed to be protecting for the vessel, and it's meant to eventually awaken her? Like, because it is part of her. Like, it has to be part of her power, which then he's probably the egg.
Sure. But one of the things that is kind of curious about the whole idea of Emilia getting taken over by Satala is what happens to Emilia. Because now we haven't gotten into the mechanics of possession or anything like that in this universe, right? And who knows how it would work. But you would think that the biggest obstacle potentially to Satala taking over Emilia is that Emilia needs to be hollowed out, right? Like,
she needs to be prepped for it.
Yeah, she needs to be prepped for it, right?
In some way, yeah.
And maybe that's what ended up happening in the test,
trial.
in the trial. It went badly, and
she broke down, disassociated, and that was enough.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense, because the trial was something that brought up her past. And if she tried to forget her past, that's kind of like forgetting who you are, and then that could have done it, yeah.
Which especially then gives all kinds of new weight to, in the world-building sense, even though we already had the weight from the personal sense of Puck and Emilia in the Frozen Bonds OVA and all the stuff that happened there. Because she had kind of shut down there, too, before Puck came along. Like,
that's true.
Well, okay, No, she'd actually, she managed to keep going and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
she didn't completely. In some way, she didn't come in close then.
Right. Yeah. But she had just sort of like locked it out of her mind and memory and thought. Yeah.
Big world building related thing though. Let's assume either one of our theories are right. All the witches are then in the same place. Regardless of whether our theory is that that's Satala manipulating and invoking the witch of any given time.
That she had previously consumed or whatever.
One could potentially have show up, because it's not that they have some like magical rule that they're abiding by. It's that, we only have the one host, Satala, that we're
and Echidna did say that it's the I'll let them take my body. Like, I'll let them inhabit, like,
I'm sure that I'm sure that their whole torture of this whole thing is that they would end up being great friends, but the problem is that they can't actually spend time interacting with each other. So it's just the thing of where Echidna being the witch of greed is like, no, it's all my time. They're like, fuck you, Echidna, you're taking all the time. We don't get to do shit in here. And the Echidna's just like, that seems like a you problem.
Right.
I can totally see that being a thing there. But if this is true, and Echidna is just, being herself here, then all the witches being in the same place, the sanctuary might be actually a guardian sanctuary to keep Satella away from the other witches so that they don't be consumed.
Right, which I think is what it was originally established in the second season to be.
Keep Satella out.
Right, keep Satella out.
Yep.
And then there was just the whole thing of we were like, wait, but if there is something sketchy, could it actually, but that it was to keep Satella in.
Yes.
But
both of those are still equally on the table.
Yep.
It's just a question of, what are we going to find out from this episode?
Right.
What are we going to find out?
But hey, Roswaal knows that Subaru can return by death.
Yeah, he has
the
book.
Right, which seems like it would have been then the other one,
Yep,
the other
yep,
one of the
'cause there were two.
because there were two.
Yep,
and that's probably how him and Beatrice found out about it. Is
or
that
they communicate potentially.
well, sure, that too. But the idea that like, oh, yeah, these books that tell the future, what happens if you have someone that keeps resetting time?
Like, would you never see it though?
Yeah, would you either never see it, or would you see all of it? Or would you see at least the signs of it?
Or in the moment, this would be the best part, you wouldn't have any memory of it, but in the moment, would you be able to tell when things are being done wrong? Because Subaru comes in and he keeps doing things against the way the book says it's supposed to go. And you're like,
oh, yeah.
like, think about it this way.
Sure.
Subaru's whole thing is that he's the one that makes 1,000 mistakes until he gets it right.
So the future is very much not set in stone.
Or
because he shakes it up.
Whoa, right. But it is. Destiny is the thing that he's eventually going to kind of just align with. It's just how he gets there eventually.
All right.
There's a canon ending, basically.
Sure.
But the book basically shows you that world line. But Subaru, in the moment, on the way to that key set and point milestone, can do all kinds of shit, basically. He can muck it up. And so they probably have lived long enough to be able to be like, I see when it works out perfectly. Wait a minute. This kid came to my mansion and suddenly the book is not right.
Yeah, suddenly the book's wrong. Yeah, it's like, that doesn't happen. That's okay.
Yeah, and then of course Subaru keeps resetting, so they don't necessarily retain memory of every instance where he was doing this. But I'm sure that on the way to canon ending, kind of canon milestones and stuff like that, he still changes things. Like, he still ends up saving people. He still ends up doing things to where they're like, is it him? Is he the... We can't be sure. Like
okay.
He's got some, he's got that witch kind of, whatever. So, we gotta be careful.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, oh man, like, this season as a whole, right, has been really good.
Really good.
Really good.
Really good.
Ridiculously good. One of the things, though, that has been happening in this season that I thought I had gotten used to is the cliffhangers.
Oh, right.
Because it's like, okay, this is the season of cliffhangers. And every episode, basically...
You remember the mansion arc.
Oh, yeah, I remember the mansion arc. Yeah,
there
for
was
sure.
Like one wholesome episode that left us with no cliffhanger.
No, yeah.
And but every other one was like wholesome cliffhanger at the very end.
I do not at all mind the cliffhangers.
Me neither.
I love them.
Yeah, they keep capitulating on them really well.
I figured I had developed a tolerance to them at the very least because, these are some crazy cliffhangers, but they're not going to, like, you can't keep escalating to this degree, right? It's like, okay, I've caught up with the crazy, like, cliffhanger energy with, like, so the cliffhangers will be super entertaining and surprising, but at the same time I'll be like, Sasuga ReZero chan, right? Like,
wait, did you say Sasuga? Sonotori? Are you doing the Zeke? That's exactly right. You know.
Yeah, that's our ReZero. Yeah.
I think it's a Sonotori, but
Oh,
yeah.
But
Oh, you're probably right, Sasuke. Yeah. Sorry, I derailed you.
But then we get stuff like this, where it's like all of a sudden, Satsula, and it's like, hold on, like ReZero season 1. Let's just go back to ReZero season 1 for a second. ReZero season 1, really good, right?
Especially in the middle of the mansion and stuff.
Yes, in the middle of the mansion, and then the early stuff with the witches cult and everything like that. The episodes like up through 18, and then I think it started around like 13 or 14 or somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean that's all the mansions still kind of. But yeah, I got you.
Well,
yeah, it's in the same location.
But that compared to this, like, it's something where it's like I never would have thought that the story would progress this quickly to the
Right,
point where we'd
yeah.
actually be dealing with Satsula on episode 9 of season 2. Like
Yeah,
that,
even if it's her invoked avatar. Or
Right,
whatever.
exactly. I figured Satsula was the kind of thing where it's like, oh yeah, after 3 two-core seasons, then we're going to get introduced to Satsula because she's going to figure out some way to Voldemort herself back into the world or something. I didn't think it was like, no. Just give us 2 more weeks of airing time for episodes, basically, and then we'll have her. It's
Yeah.
like, what? Or sorry, 2 more months, not weeks. But yeah, so,
And little extra thing here. I love all the witches that we got introduced to here. But
they are
one of
wonderful.
the things that I was legitimately surprised by was how well, I would say, I don't know, thought out Gluttony's logic was.
yes, I appreciated that a
I
lot.
thought that one of the things that was rather pointed in season 1 was that we were being introduced to the flaws of Natsuki Subaru, and we were breaking and disassembling him down so that we could see him eventually reach his worst and lowest points.
Yeah.
And it's cruel, but it was necessary in order for us, one, to understand him, but also for him to be built back up into the hero that will literally save everyone. Like Rem saw that. But here, we had this interesting situation, you know?
Yeah.
Where Typhon basically said, oh, you don't feel pain here, so you must be a good guy, but you see yourself in a different way. So all the stuff that he's experienced has basically laden him with this guilt, with this burden
Right.
that he can't cast off. So Echidna here is now becoming this salve, this release for his burden.
Right.
But then it's gluttony that brings up the idea that the thing that keeps us surviving is not those connections.
it's hunger.
It's our desires. It's our appetites. That's it. Our appetite. The appetite of Natsuki Subaru throughout season 1 primarily was he only had an appetite for Emilia, basically.
Okay.
And it was something that sustained him. It kept him going.
All right.
And I don't want to go too weird and off kilter with the theories here, but that might have been kind of the point, is that this is a show where we're going to take the 7 deadly sins, like a lot of other stories do, and focus on how our main character kind of dances within all of them. It's a fully rounded, 3-dimensional character.
Right.
But the thing that he does is that he channels all of them at different points to keep going here.
Okay.
And I really wonder, with him now having a special potential relationship with the essence that is greed,
Yeah.
and given that there's so much info that's about to be probably given to him via the Beatrice Roswaal connection for one, and all this other stuff with freaking Sattala showing up and stuff.
Yep.
I'm rather excited. I don't even
Okay.
really have a hard coalesced theory here, but I feel like I'm beginning to understand a little bit of why they had the 7 deadly sins as witches, and why
All right.
Subaru is the main character in a meta kind of way.
Okay.
So, Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
one of the
that's it.
things
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to mention about gluttony's, like you were saying, the logic of the things that she was saying, is that a lot of the times I'll see stories do something where, because an entity or a culture or whatever, right, they want it to seem very very different or alien to the traditional things that the audience would be familiar with.
Oh, okay.
They'll have something that they value or whatever be very different, right?
Sure.
The perpetual thing that comes to mind is anytime I see like fairies or the Feywilds or things like that, and it's like, yes, the plants are living and all that stuff, and it's how dare you tread upon the grass, right? Because you're killing the living thing and all that stuff, right? But then at the same time, oftentimes those stories won't acknowledge the fact that, like, no, but nature is cruel and terrible, and it's a jungle where things eat each other, and that's
Okay, but yeah.
And in the case with gluttony, the fact that she was like, no, the rabbits, them eating things, of course they would eat things. You try and eat them, they try and eat you. It's all fair game.
Right.
And then when
yeah.
Subaru mentions the fact that he killed the whale, that could have been a point where gluttony could have been really pissed, right, and been like, you killed one of my 3 children. How dare you do that? But she's like, no, that seems fair. Yeah, kill or be killed.
But good luck trying to kill the...
Right, good luck, because, some of them are very...
mere human.
Right, very difficult to do. But at the same time, I don't take it personally that you did that, because you're abiding by the same rules that I do.
Right.
And that's how I think the world is supposed to work, or that's how I think the world does work. So that felt very internally consistent, and something where the creator basically was like, okay, if we're going to have her have this logic, what would be different ways that she would see the world that could also be helpful for the audience, or not the audience, for the main character,
right?
Where yes, certain things cause trouble for you, but certain things also end up being beneficial for you in ways you might not have expected. So
yeah, that's a very fun aspect of having a entity with power in the universe of ReZero there, where they created some aspects of what people accept within the culture of this world, where you have magical beasts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And,
also, this, as far as a build-up for, it might just be because I love the fact that there are a swarm of carnivorous magical bunnies, but I am so much more excited for the bunnies to be fought than the whale.
white whale.
Yeah. Maybe it was the prep. Maybe it's just the dissonantly, like, the dissonance of the cuteness and the terrifying, like, aspect of the creature. But like, I'm very excited to see that battle.
Right. I think the entire reason why you're feeling that also is the same way for me, is that actually, if you remember, when the white whale was first introduced, we loved it. We loved the idea of the white whale. Otto suddenly doesn't remember, like, anything.
Oh,
Like, the fact that the whale just shows up and does this thing and the eye blinks right in front of him. It's horrifying. It feels like a raid boss, an open world, MMO kind of world boss thing. Everything, bit of the action's really good. It's the pacing that was surrounding it, where we had all these new characters that were being kind of just shoved in our faces rather quickly, with their backstories and stuff about them that was necessary in order to have the fight against the white whale work. But in terms of an execution for that, we don't necessarily have to have that with the rabbit, because we've already introduced enough characters to where it might be possible already.
And because it's maybe just, it's easier to kill, like, you killing one of them is no problem. It feels like it can be a much, like, sort of scrappier, like, battle. Like, it doesn't need to be, like, armies bombarding it with magic or whatever.
Dude!
What?
The rabbit is attracted to mana.
Oh.
Do you guys realize what Subaru could do here? He could sick
the rabbit on
Elsa. No, on Elsa and the mob beast outside in the mansion.
That would be very satisfying to see Elsa get torn to pieces by rabbits.
Like, would that be freaking awesome?
That would be great. I thought you were gonna say that was how he was gonna, like, get out of the situation that he was in, or make sure that he dies or something. Is that every rabbit? Yeah. It's just gonna be like
a bunch of rabbits
sea of
charging
black
into
magic goop, and then
Yeah, but we don't know actually how the rabbit was brought there.
Right, and how much time passed and things like that. So it might not be around here right now.
I don't think it's around here right now.
But I can guarantee that this is probably the strongest source of mana, even with like distance making it feel less or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's probably moving.
Yeah,
in
but to be
this
fair, if
direction
Satala
now.
is that strong, what I imagine is happening is that the bunnies are literally charging to their deaths, and they just hit the black
Yeah.
fog and are immediately dead.
Right,
Just
like a
tons
bunch of lemmings or whatever, just diving off the cliff, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would assume that would be how their battle would
Probably.
play out.
Probably. Yeah.
Hey, if anything,
Oh, man.
they might even be feeding her right now, and it's just a thing of where it's like, oh yeah, this is infinite food, and I'm just the suck,
That would be a bit terrifying.
That would be. But y'all,
Oh, boy.
thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about the show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yes, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb,
I'm Jacob.
and we'll see you all
Next time.